front of a capacity crowd. 5 lights are on. It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen does get away well. The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, Ted, down to you. Yeah, well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, not too shabby.
Hello all and welcome into the Tier 1 finale here in Season 6. You're joined by me, your host WHFR, for this evening's action as we get ready for short qualifying, followed by 29 laps around the Yas Marina circuit here in Abu Dhabi. But it is going to be a fun one. We'll see how the drivers get on, who will be favourites here. We are yet to find out. But welcome in one and all into the stream. Thori is going to be the first driver out in a lap. Championship still yet to be decided here in Tier 1. Cookie leads 12 points ahead of Hemi Dimes, who's a further 8 points ahead of Rio Harris. Rio, unfortunately not here today due to pulling a 24-hour stream before the race yesterday/today for Owen Starr's been given a penalty after contact with Ho Chi Minh. Not quite sure what happened there, but Starr gonna have to come in, fix that front wing already here. Bit of drama. But it's a 3-way title fight if Rio does join in qualifying, although I think he's asleep, so it may end up being a 2-way fight. Zampa says Rio is melted. Yeah, we kind of expected after 24 hours. He says he wanted to stay up 30 hours, but we were all like, that's not going to happen. But thank you for the bit, Zampa. Let me make sure the sound alerts are on, because I don't think they're on. Let us see here. Alright. Sound alert should be on now. Who not missed much, though he's still on his lap. And entering the final sector now, we've got Cookie and Hemi Dimes out on the lap. They'll be the 2 drivers to watch today. They are the 2 championship rivals. 12 points separate them though, so Hemi's going to have to beat Cookie by some margin in this race as Thori's ran wide. But even though Thori's ran wide, we'll go on board with Cookie, who could be one of the favourites for pole today, along with Hemi Dimes, Starr, Nesev. Couple of quick drivers out there. Definitely will be ones to watch. As Ty is the first driver across the line with a 24.9, as Cookie does a 21.8. 3 seconds quicker than Ty. Will head down to Hemi Dimes, who's currently out on a lap now. And where can Hemi go on this flyer? As Ho Chin up to P2 with a 22.9. That's Michael Liu with a 22.9. TJ with a 22.8. Ho Chin with a 23.3. Hemi Dimes goes up to P2 with a 22.3. He is off his rival by half a second, so Hemi gonna need to pull sometimes out of the bag, or he could hope for a miracle and hope Cookie DNFs, although it's been unlikely. It's been a while since we've seen Cookie DNF here in WHF, so it would be a miracle that Hemi Dimes needs. Meanwhile, Gordon with a 23.8, Ollie Bean with a 24.5, and Nuki Lad, the Tier 3 reserve, up with a 24.3. Who else is out there? Nisev out in lap. He could be one of the favourites for pole. As, whoa, that was a big wheel flick. Rears stepping out on the Alpine. As the DRS now is open for Nisev. Meanwhile, DZ Racer and Stephen Beecham out there on laps as well. And Nisev on an absolute flyer here. And what lap times can the Alpine driver do? We will wait and see. As through the final corner, 21.8 is the time to beat. Can Nisev getting anywhere near it as he crosses the line? It's a 21.9, a tenth off Cookie. Onto the front row of the grid, but massive gaps here in qualifying. A second separates P1 and P4. Just showing the gulf in class out there. Hitman into P5. Almost goes deep into the wall there. But welcome in one and all into the Tier 1 finale here. Hope you're doing well. And 12 minutes left to qualify and still a lot to happen. Star out in a lap. Has a 5-place grid penalty after contact with Hochin. And I wonder, will that play a factor in future? As Star now through the final sector. Where can the Williams driver go? As he rounds the final corner and Star up to the line, crosses it, and it's a 22.350 equal time with Hemi Dimes. Hilarious enough to see, but will start behind him regardless if Hemi Dimes stays where he is on the field, because Star does have that 5-place grid penalty. So if Hemi Dimes even stays inside the top 4, he will start ahead of Star. Regardless of where Star ends up qualifying, as Stephen up here appears to be on an in-lap. I think Thori is the only driver out on a lap as things stand. As Ollie B in the chat says, might be out of my depth here. But considering the pace of some of the Tier 1 drivers, it does feel like that at times, because there is a big gap in the field. Currently, P1 and P5 separated by over a second. So there is big gaps here in this qualifying session. Yesterday in Tier 2, there was very close gaps in the Tier 2 finale. I'm not quite sure what the gaps ended up being, but it was a hell of a lot closer than this, as Thori up to P13. And Liam out there as well. Star into the pit lane, TJ on an out lap, Thori on an in lap. Who is closest to starting a lap? It'll be Ollie, who's yet to set a time in this chrome livery. McLaren will go on board with the Season 3 WHF champion, who was crowned here Season 3 champion in Abu Dhabi here all those seasons ago. Won in a battle with JG a couple of years ago, back on F124. And I say a couple, it was probably like a year ago. It wasn't that long ago, but it feels like a long ago, because it was back in Season 3. We're here at the end of Season 6. And Ollie Bean now battling in the championship along with Ty Clear and I believe Gordon in the championship. Let me have a quick look at the standings. Yeah, Ollie is ahead of Ty Clear in P5, and Ollie at best can cement P5 here today, and he'll want to do that. Meanwhile, JG trying to finish ahead of Michael Louis, Echo, Mallard, Stephen and TJ. There still is a lot of swapping that can happen in the midfield here, but I think Ollie is more worried about Ty and JG. JG would need a fantastic performance here in order to beat Ollie. Meanwhile, Ollie up to P9 with a 23.1. Brilliant lap there from the McLaren driver as he pulls out of the way for Echo starting his lap, and Echo, the Scouser on a flyer, But we're going to go on board back to the championship battle here. It's Hemi Dimes, a tenth to the good through Sector 1. He's going to get a toe from his teammate, Stephen Beecham, which may help him on this run. Stephen with a lovely toe down the back straight. And Hemi now heavy braking into turn 6 through the chicane he goes. And exiting turn 7. Does Hemi have time in the tank? We will see. Cookie out on a lap there, trying to improve upon his 21.8. Hemi trying to get in touching distance, and he's up by a tenth and a half, but that would not be enough. At least it could pull him a little bit of a gap to start and improve. Meanwhile, TJ had improved to a 22.6. Hemi Dimes now heading through the final sector. How much time does he have left in this Ferrari as he rounds the final sector? And Hemi, who I do believe has no wins this season despite being P2 in the championship. A win here could be massive for him. He crosses the line, gets into the 9s. That's a spectacular improvement, but not close enough to Cookie, who's already a tenth and a half himself. Improving here. Does Cookie have any time left in this lap? Can he keep it smooth through the final sector to pull an even bigger gap? It's a 21.6 for Cookie. Meanwhile, Nisev flying through the final sector. He's up by 200ths of a second. He would need to pull 3 tenths out of this final sector to get anywhere close to Cookie, who's looking to win another championship here in WHF. As Nisev now rounding the final corner and crosses the line, improves by half a tenth, but not close enough to Cookie here. Meanwhile, Hitman improved to P5 with a 22.4. We've got Michael Louis on an in-lap, Hochin on an in-lap, Stephen on a lap here, a tenth to the good. May have got a toe from Hemi Dimes for a little bit of teamwork here. And Stephen, with 6 minutes left in the session, got Star back in again, thankfully. So hopefully Star doesn't have any more connection issues for the remainder of the race, because that may have hurt him a little bit. Meanwhile, Stephen currently in P11, and the Constructors' Battle is still on, by the way, for those of you unaware. Yeah, that's up there. As Stephen crosses the line, goes. It does improve very slightly, but not on position. But as I mentioned, the Constructors' fight is still on, as well as the drivers. Red Bull have the advantage, along with the leader of Cookie, who could seal the deal in both championships today. So we'll have to wait and see there. Meanwhile, DZ Racer and Valid Gordon parking out of the way to let a couple cars through there. As Thorry starting another lap here. And we have Hochin, who's a tenth to the good, is Hochin. As he heads through the final sector. And through the final sector he goes. Hochin up to the line, does a 22.9. Decent improvement from the Cyber driver. As Star back on an out lap. I think Thorry's on a lap. He's a 10 to the good. That may get him ahead of Liam and potentially Gordon if he can pull an extra bit of time out of the bag, along with DZ Racer and Ty not too far ahead. He's 3 tenths to the good, and that may push him as high as ahead of Stephen Beecham for Thorry here, if he can get a little bit more time through this final sector. And we'll follow the V-carb through the final sector here, wanting to keep it flat to the floor and rounding the final corner now. Where can Thorry go as the V-carb driver comes up to the line, crosses it and does go into P11. A tenth away from Ollie, but a tenth ahead of Stephen Beecham for a splendid lap there from Thorry. Meanwhile, Star on a lap. Another one of the drivers who could be favoured for pole here. Currently has a 22.3. Missed the inside of the apex of turn 1 very marginally. As I'll close OBS just so that it hopefully doesn't lag as much on my screen. As Star now Rounding turn 5. A long charge down the back straight. Doesn't have any toe to help him here. But can he do it? We will see. A Star. Rounding turn 7. And with DRS open, may he get a little bit of a toe here from the V carb ahead? Yes, he does. Lovely toe. I don't know if Thorsten meant to help him there, but he did help him in the end. And Star, though, is down on his time. Needs a monster final sector here if he wants to get any improvement out of this lap. And Star now rounding the final corner, goes a little bit deep, wide of the apex, crosses the line, and just a very slight improvement there on the lap. As there's 2 minutes left of the session, Ollie being 2/10 to the good, which could put him ahead of Nuki Lad. And while we're here, I'm going to give Ryu one last attempt to join the lobby, but I think he still will be asleep. But we may as well give him an opportunity, because if he doesn't join off that invite, then Ryu will be out of the championship here. So we'll give him every opportunity. Although I do think he is probably still asleep, which I can't blame him. As Ollie Bean now rounding the final corner and up to the line. Where can Ollie Bean go? Does get ahead of Nuki Lad. And he'll start at best P17. With there being only about a minute and a half left in this session. As Star... believe he's done for the day. Michael Louis starting a lap. We've also got Ty out in a lap. Currently half attempt to the good is Ty. And there still is a lot of the midfield battles to be decided today. And Ty now 2/10 to the good. Could push him ahead of Thori. But he wants to get ahead of Ollie, who he's battling with in the championship for P5 in the standings. As Star is retired from the session, he'll start down maybe as far as P9 with his 5-place grid penalty earned by contact with Hochin under at the start there. As Ty goes up to P11, just shy of Ollie's time. So Ollie will stay ahead of his championship rival for P5. Meanwhile, who else do we have out there? We've got Cookie at 10th to the good, improving on what already is a provisional pole lap. And Cookie now, can he improve any more from this already 21.6? And Cookie now heading through the final corner. And up to the line as there's a Sauber's broken his front wing across the line and retired on track as Cookie does a 21.5. Who's next to the line? It's TJ crossing the line, gets ahead of Hitman. Meanwhile, Hemi Dimes on a lap. Can he get ahead in a save here? It could be very important to start on the front row. Ahead of Nis and... next to his championship rival. Cookie has by far and away been the quickest driver here in qualifying, but if Hemi can start on the front row of the grid and put pressure on his championship rival, it could force an error here. But Hemi round turn 9. Did he wash a little bit wide there on this flyer? As he heads through the final sector, and it's a big mistake, and he'll start at best P3. Nis improves by a 10th and cements his P2. Michael Louis now doesn't seem to be improving, blocked by that Alpine of Nuki, who may be on a lap. As Hochin now currently P9 and rounding the final corner. As he spins it across the line and improved by almost half a 10th, so surprising to see him get any improvement there. But that is it. Cookie on pole here, gets the pole lap, which extends his championship lead to 13 points over Hemi Dimes now. And we'll give Rio one last chance, but I don't believe he will join in time. I think he is still sleeping, but if we load into the lobby and Rio's not here, and that is his championship battle done. But there you have it. Cookie on pole, 2/10 ahead of Nasev, who's a further 2/10 ahead of Hemi Dimes. Hemi Dimes will start on the row behind his championship rival here. These two looking to decide the championship here. And who will win it here today? Not sure if I got the race director, but I think I did. We'll just get it twice, just in case. But Star, who would have been one of the challengers today for the win. Liam says, is he protesting? No, he's not protesting. He just has... he was doing a 24-hour stream last night / this morning, so he's probably in bed. But I still wanted to give him every opportunity to join if he was able, but I believe he's probably asleep, which can't really blame him for if they're staying up for 24 hours. But get your predictions in the chat. How do you think this one's going to end? Who will win the championship? Will Cookie be crowned champion yet again here in WHF? Or will Hemi Dimes win his first championship? We will wait and see. A lot could happen here in this one. Get your predictions in the chat. Let me know what you think. Yippee! Damn, that was loud. Yes, it is a one-stop, Liam. But I actually have seen people do two stomps. But it is, if you haven't selected the harder tire allocation, you've made a mistake. Because it's a medium hard or a medium hard. That is your two options. If you have to do medium hard, medium, you're cooked. Because the mediums just are not good. Ollie B in the chat says, reckon Hemi can do it, and it would be quite crazy if he did, but as things stand, it looks a little bit unlikely. But heading into this race, Cookie is a 5-time champion. Could he make it 6 here in WHF Season 6? We will wait and see. Will it be a 6th championship for Cookie? Will it be a 1st for Hemi Dimes? We will wait and see. The drivers will be readying up in 1 minute's time, so you have time to get yourself a drink, a cup of tea, well, probably, I don't know how quick your kettle is, maybe not a cup of tea, but a water or some snacks, as we've hit 8:28, so the drivers should be readying up now, and we will get ready for the 5 red lights here for the finale. And who will be champion? We will have to wait and see. Hemi needs to outscore Cookie by 14 points after Cookie picked up the pole position lap. As we hear the chimes counting down now. Will it be Cookie? Will it be Hemi? We will have the 5 red lights on here in the Tier 1 finale. And the lights are out, and away we go as Cookie leads us down into turn 1. Nis has not got an amazing start, but down the inside he goes. He has got an amazing start, and Nis gets through on Cookie. A little bit of wheel banging between these two as Hemi in behind Cookie. Will he go for the move into turn 5 as he's on the rear of his championship rival here? And down into turn 5 does Hemi want to take the risk here on lap 1. Hemi looking down the outside as Cookie and TJ diving it through on Hemi Dimes. Hemi back through on Cookie as we charge down to turn 6. Star down to P18. Something has happened. The Williams driver is Cookie now into turn 6. Is he going to send it on this? No, he goes defensive and protects against Hemi as TJ looking for a move on the outside of the Ferrari driver. And Hitman wanting to get involved here as well, but we're watching the main battle here. For the lead is TJ really pressuring Hemi Dimes as Hemi recharging into turn 9, but will we settle down a bit as Hemi all over the rear of Cookie here on lap 1, but unable to get through. But as time progresses, will this battle build on? We will see Gordon on the outside of Stephen Beecham side by side. They go through turn 10, and Gordon getting through on Stephen. Lovely move from Gordon. Gordon, runner-up in Season 4. Battling with Stephen Beecham as Akku on the rear of Michael Lloyd. Can Akku outdrag the McLaren out of the final corner? The McLaren able to keep it ahead just for now. Meanwhile, Ness seems to be pulling a bit of a gap here to Cookie, but I wonder is Cookie just worried about managing his mediums and protecting from Himmy behind? If Cookie finishes ahead of Himmy, that will be the championship done and dusted as Akku looking on the rear of Michael. Michael's went a little bit deep as Akku had a little bit of a sniff on the inside. Akku now on the rear with DRS. Can he close up and get ahead of the McLaren? But the McLaren going to look on the rear of Hitman as well. And will Michael go for a move into turn 6? No, Michael is going to think better of it and stay in behind here on lap 2. Akku still all over the rear of the McLaren, but the McLaren now putting pressure on Hitman. Gordon making the move on Thori in the background, but there's an absolute barn burner battle. 4P5 is Cookie on the outside of Nis as we head through turn 9. Cookie battling with Nis. Nis does enough to keep Cookie at bay. Michael not close enough to making a move here. Cookie back on the rear of Nis, but not close enough to making a move. And surely if you're Himmy, you gotta think about trying to put pressure on Cookie if it's possible. Meanwhile, Akku still on the rear of Michael, unable to get ahead. Gordon made his way through on Thori. As Star battling with Ollie Bean here, and Star off the track as he battles with his Williams teammate for the day. Ollie Bean, the tier 2 driver, reserving for this evening, and Star putting pressure on Ollie Bean, but can he find a way through? As DZ Racer also involved in this battle, and both have dropped down a bit. I wonder, is Star dealing with any damage, or did he just have a little bit of a spin possibly? I don't know if he has any damage. Doesn't see any visible damage on the Williams, but the comeback could be on for the Williams driver, although it's going to be a big ask for Star to get back up in this fight. Meanwhile, up at the front here, Cookie right on the rear of Nis. Nis defensive into turn 6. Has Cookie got the traction out of turn 7? DRS open for the Red Bull driver, and can the championship leader take the lead of the race here as Nis is going defensive to the inside? Cookie on the outside, gonna break later than Nis, and around the outside goes the Red Bull driver into the lead of the race, and the Alpine of Nis now down to P2. Can he get back ahead of Cookie? We will wait and see. Cookie now into the lead of the race with Nis all over his rear, and Himmy, who's in P2 in the championship, in P3, he's watching this battle and hoping Nis gives him some help here, because Himmy realistically needs a lot to go his way. He needs to outscore Cookie by 14 points, and Himmy possibly could have gone for the move on Cookie earlier in the race, but he had TJ all over his rear early on, so had to worry about the Mercedes in behind, who's worrying about the championship, the Constructors' Championship. And TJ, unfortunately with Rio missing out today, is going to have to do all the heavy lifting for Mercedes, as DZ Racers retired from the session here on lap 4. He may have picked up some early damage and has called it a day here, as Himmy dives now on the rear of Nis. Can he get close to the Alpine? The Alpine in behind the Red Bull here on lap 4, as Cookie will lead the pack here. Ollie gets through on Hochin into turn 6. Tai through on Nuki. A reminder is on the inside, Liam side by side, he goes with Nuki. Star looking for a double switchback, gets it on the Haas and gets it on the Alpine as we go side by side, charging down to turn 9, and Liam may even look for a move on either of the drivers as Star gets round the outside. Lovely move there from Star. Gordon and Hochin battling, and Hochin down to P10 as Liam getting through on Nuki. As Nis now continuing to follow. Himmy dropping a little bit back, needs to stay inside DRS range. TJ's lost DRS range, and that's going to help Himmy alleviate some of the pressure. But at the same time though, not only does Himmy need to finish ahead of Cookie, he needs to hope Cookie finishes very far down the order. There's still a lot can happen in this one, but Himmy already dropping a little bit back. He's almost outside DRS range from Nis. Nis is dropping a little bit back from Cookie up the road as well. And Cookie, who is a 5-time champion here in WHF, looking for his 6th as Nis desperately trying to cling to DRS range. Cookie trying to break the DRS gap, but that rear wing has given him some extra pace down the straight as Nis chucking it through turn 6. And Cookie with a big swapper on out of turn 7. And that may give Nis the opportunity to close back up again to the Red Bull, who just got too excited on the traction. And Hemi now back up close to Nis. Nis didn't really have a lot of battery to capitalise on Cookie's mistake there. As Hemi now on the rear. Meanwhile, we'll look at the battle here between Stephen and Thori. And Stephen on the rear of the V-Carb driver. Meanwhile, Nis is looking like he is struggling inside Cookie's dirty air. Hemi also needs to stay with the Alpine of Nis. There's still a lot in this race to happen. And a reminder, the pit stop phase is still not started yet. Could be a 2-stop, could be a 1-stop. What will the drivers go for? Hemi had lost DRS momentarily from Nis, but Nis now has lost DRS from Cookie, and this could be massive for the championship here. Hemi needs to stick with Cookie, and Nis now dropping out of DRS may make that a little bit harder. Can Hemi get the exit out of turn 7 and get ahead of Nis to latch onto the rear of Cookie yet again here? As we head through turn 7, we've got Hitman also all over the rear of TJ as well. As Thori all over the rear of Ho-Chin, and a little bit of contact in the background. Stephen involved here. Could we get a camera angle, please? As Star, and we're almost 4 abreast here. Stephen on the inside, Thori, Hitman, or Ho-Chin, and Thori all involved. Star gets 2 overtakes in one corner, and Stephen's been clipped around by Ho-Chin. And not going to be happy with that is Stephen Beecham, down to P15, which could cost Ferrari massively in the Constructors' battle. Meanwhile, Star has an opportunity to get ahead of Thori here. Nis has gone early for the 2-stop. What will be more effective? Will it be the 2-stop? Will it be the 1-stop? Hemi now 1.9 behind his championship leader. Is Cookie going to follow Nis in? Is Cookie going to stay out in 1-stop? Still a lot to play for here. What will Hemi do? What will Cookie do when it comes to the strategies? As we've got Ho-Chin in as well, committing to the 2-stop here on lap 7. As Hitman now on the rear of TJ. And can Hitman go for the move into turn 6? He's going to look down the inside. And side by side, Hitman and TJ go. And Hitman now looking for the switch back out of turn 7. Lost a bit of traction there. But does he still have some pace with the DRS? Michael on the rear of the Sauber as well. As you can see him flashing up ahead. Hitman going to go defensive on Michael Louis. And Hitman going to stay ahead here. Meanwhile, Echo on the rear of Hitman. Or Echo on the rear of Michael Louis. Ollie wants to get back in touch with this battle with the Haas driver. Gordon also watching this battle on. Gordon didn't have a terrific qualifying, but he has got great pace out there, and he's slowly working his way back up into contention as TJ and Hemi dives into the box along with Echo. They're all committing to the 2-stop, it seems. Cookie is going to try and 1-stop this. Which will be the better strategy? We will wait and see. Gordon now on the rear of Ollie, and can the Aston Martin driver work his way past the WHF Season 3 champion? As Gordon now going to try and get the exit out of turn 5 here. As we charge down to turn 6, can Gordon get ahead, or will he look for the exit out of turn 7? It seems he's sticking put now. He wants the exit out of turn 7 to try and shape for this move as Nis gets ahead of Nuki, his teammate. And Nis now going to try and make this 2-stop strategy work for him. We'll keep an eye on how his progression is made as Hemi gets through on his teammate Stephen. As Gordon dives it down the inside of turn 9. Ollie leaving the room for Gordon. Gordon washes it wide though, and Gordon around. Oh, and really unfortunate for Gordon there, just washed out wide and has a big spin there. And Gordon now going to try and recompose his Nis. Oh, and Nuki made a big error there out of turn 9. But able to catch the car. Nis now on the rear of Liam. And up into P2 now is Hitman. Along with Michael Louis. Ollie comes in for the 2-stop. Or maybe a really early 1-stop. I think Ollie's possibly gone the earliest you can go for the 1-stop. As Nis now gets through on Liam, but 20 laps on the hards will be difficult. And what is Liam doing? Just try to dive bomb Nis out of nowhere. And luckily they both stay on the track. No one is damaged, but that just seemed like an absolute send from Liam there as Nis got through. But it seems like the majority of the drivers out there going to try the 2-stop. Who is going to try and 1-stop here? Will Hitman, Michael, Thori, Nuki and Ollie Bean try and extend for the 1-stop? It could be very effective here. We'll have to wait and see as TJ gets through on Ollie Bean. And Echo now looking through on Ollie Bean as well. And even Stephen on the rear of this battle, but I don't think Stephen's boxed yet. Stephen started on the hard tyres. And unfortunately had a spin earlier after contact with Hochin. And Stephen now on the rear of Ollie Bean. On the inside, and Ollie Bean's left the car's width for him, but Stephen again washing out wide through turn 9. Meanwhile, Liam lost a position to Himmy Dime. Stephen losing out now to Ollie and Ty Clear, possibly frustrated with the space that's being left out there, maybe not adequate enough for the Ferrari driver. As Ollie now all over the rear of his championship rival. These two are battling for P5 in the championship. As Ollie Bean now in off the medium tyres. Could be 1-stopping. We'll have to wait and see. Hochin picking up a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, Michael Louis still following along Hitman here. As these two still inside the top 3. And could they be some of the favourites for the podium? We'll wait and see. Will the 1-stop be effective? We'll keep an eye out. Meanwhile, Hochin's retired in the pit lane. And Nuki battling with TJ here. As Echo involved here as well. Echo going to follow him through. Nuki going to try and go defensive, but Echo on the inside. TJ ahead of both cars here. Echo gets ahead of Nuki. And Echo now going to try and get the exit on TJ. Hemi gets ahead of Thori, but Echo on the rear of TJ. Can Echo get past the Mercedes drivers? Echo now going to look around the outside of turn 9. Looks for the switchback on the Mercedes driver. Can he find the grip in there? No, he can't. There's no grip there on the inside as Ollie gets through on Ty Clear. But Echo tried the switchback but couldn't find the grip on the inside curve there. As Michael Louis and Hitman definitely committing to the 1-stop. They want a box around lap 12. 13 at latest, I would say. But Michael having a strong outing. Hitman having a very strong outing as well, currently in P2. Liam has come in and he's definitely 2-stopping. That's too early to come off the hards and not be 2-stopping. Himmy Dimes now 3 seconds off Nis. Nis now in DRS range from Star, who is yet to box in this one, despite Star having a bit of a torrid time in this race. But you never know what could happen here. A safety car could throw an absolute spanner in the works. An ill-timed safety car at that. So you have to wait and see how everything will play out. As Nis now on the rear of Star. And will Star put up much of a fight here on the older tyres? It doesn't seem like Star was putting up that much of a fight. Or maybe Nis just had too much pace on the much fresher hard tyres. And Nis now on the rear of Michael Louis, who's still yet to box. And Michael and Hitman both might be doing more laps. So this traffic could be hurting Nis as Ollie getting through on Nuki. And Ollie now has a buffer between him and Ty, but Ty out of turn 9. Has he got the exit on Nuki? I don't believe so. Cookie finally in for his pit stop. As Nis now does get through on Michael Louis. Michael Louis coming into the box. As Cookie now onto the hard tyres until the end here. And this now into P2 is just a position away from the lead of the race, but Cookie now is out on his one stop. And how much further down the road will he be from Amy Dimes? And how much traffic will he have to deal with? Is TJ picking up a 3-second time penalty? And where will Cookie exit side by side with TJ? As TJ all over the rear of Cookie, and will he look to send it into turn 5? Looking round the outside as Nis gets through. Big wobble there from Thori, and Cookie getting through as Akko now on the rear of this battle as well. Thori still out there yet to box. Akko going to try and get through on Thori, and Akko again on the rear of TJ, going to try and get ahead if he can. But Akko not close enough to making the move. Cookie trying to keep ahead of TJ, but TJ, will he be able to do anything on these older hard tyres? I'm not quite sure, as Hitman did lose out to Nis there, but we were watching the battle with Cookie, and Cookie now has exited only 5 seconds behind Himmy Dimes. Is the 2-stop going to work? We'll have to wait and see. He's going to need a lot of pace in that second stint if he wants it to work. Hitman now maybe looking to box this lap. I would say this is the ideal lap. You do want to box off the mediums. Cookie's probably going to lap earlier than I would suggest, but the hards are a very strong tyre on this game, so even if you do go a bit early, the hards can last, whereas if you're trying to do the reverse, where you're trying to make the mediums last, they just do not, especially here in Abu Dhabi. But Himmy Dimes now on the rear of Star, and can Himmy get ahead of the Williams driver, who is still yet to box in this race? Star wants to go at earliest lap 17, possibly wants to wait till lap 19 or 20 before boxing onto the mediums, and I think Star might even go as late as possible in the hopes of trying to get a safety car. But Hemi now into P2, Star down to P3, but has still yet to box here. Will Star give Cookie any headaches here? And how far will Hemi go before boxing? We will see. Hitman through on Michael Louis. Michael Louis onto hard tyres. Hitman onto mediums. Hitman has definitely selected the wrong tyre. Maybe he's doing a medium hard. But he went very long as Michael Louis now round the outside of Hitman through turn 9. And Hitman doing just enough to defend from the McLaren driver, as Michael all over the rear, but not close enough to making a move. Meanwhile, Akko and TJ have continued to battle. TJ with that 3-second time penalty may cost them in this race. Star now desperately trying to hold on to DRS from Himmy Dimes, as the grip out there is really fading on these hard tyres. Can he stay inside DRS range? I think he just about has it. Does he have it? Oh, it's very marginal. I think he has it, and he'll be able to defend for an extra lap here against Cookie, who on a big wobble from Star. And I think I spoke too soon. Star does have the DRS flap open, but Cookie may get DRS very shortly here, and Cookie can see his championship rival just up the road. Himmy will be looking to box again, but when does that second box come? We will see. As Hitman battling with Ty Clear, Hitman through. And Michael Louis may even look through on Ty as well. Ty, one of the 2 stoppers out there, so Michael's going to want to make a move as soon as possible here on Ty to latch onto the rear of Hitman. Cookie now inside DRS range from Star, and we'll keep an eye on that. We'll go back down to Michael momentarily as he's on the outside of Ty Clear. And can he get round the outside of the Aston Martin? Yes, he does, just has extra grip available. As Cookie now on the outside of Star. As we head through the final sector, side by side they go in the Red Bull on the outside of the Williams. And Cookie sails round the outside as Akko picks up a 3-second time penalty. And now him and TJ on equal footing for penalties. Meanwhile, Star losing out to Cookie, with Cookie with a lovely move round the outside at the final corner. And now can see his championship rival just up the road. Himmy is probably going to have to box again here in this race. Meanwhile, Cookie on the one stop. How effective will this one stop be? We will see. It's looking very effective at the moment, but could flip on a dime. If there were a safety car to be out now, it could cost Cookie in his strategy and could put Hemi back on equal tyres, which could help him a lot in the championship. But how will this play out? We will wait and see. Will Hemi put up much of a fight against Cookie in order to slow him down? We will wait and see. Meanwhile, Nasev out in front by 4 seconds. Hemi does have the lap fresher hards than Nasev, but has not really been able to close that gap at all since their pit stops. Meanwhile, Akko has been pressuring TJ. It seems the whole race at this point is they're almost onto the rear of Star now, who has still around, I'd say, 5 laps to go before he boxes. Because if you are going to do a hard medium, you normally want to leave the medium stint as late as possible to build that tyre delta, and Stars come in probably as early as you can really go. If he is one stopping, this is the earliest possible time. He's going to have to really manage his mediums to the end. If he does want to one stop, he might be on a 2-stop. Meanwhile, Cookie here can see Hemi Dimes up the road and the championship lead could be decided here on lap 16. Hemi gonna try and go defensive. Cookie on the outside, burning the battery down as the Ferrari driver just doesn't have much answer for the Red Bull on much fresher tyres. But Hemi still could be on the 2-stop trying to make that work. But Cookie now ahead, and Hemi unable to do much against Cookie here as maybe a bit of contact between Hitman and Ollie, as a lot of styrofoam from the DRS boards being chucked away as Hitman weaving for whatever reason. Is Ollie going to pick the outside of the Cyber driver? And Ollie now through into P6 as he gets ahead of Hitman. And not quite sure why the styrofoam boards were all flying, but I'm guessing maybe Hitman may have been apologising by weaving a little bit for maybe whatever drama they had. But Cookie now sets the fastest lap. He's pulled the DRS gap away from Hemi Dimes as Hitman picks up another 3 second. But Hemi has got to make this 2-stop work. Otherwise, Cookie will be crowned Season 6 champion here in WHF. But as we start lap 17 of 29 here in the Yas Marina circuit, can Hitman get back through on Ollie again? Can Akko finally work his way through on TJ? We will wait and see. As Akko for quite some time now has been just trained along by TJ, but hasn't really been able to make any inroads as Hitman now back through on Ollie again. And Michael Louis joining this party, and Michael will definitely be one stopping here. Meanwhile, Ollie might be a bit more of a debate what strategy he's going for. Ollie possibly 2-stopping here, and I think he is. And meanwhile, on the rear, if we go back up to the battle, Ollie right on the rear, but not close enough. Akko not close enough to making a move here as well. But Ollie trying to put the moves on Hitman. Hitman on the mediums, I just don't see him really going to the end. Nasev now coming in. And Hemi Dimes also coming in. Picks up a 3-second time penalty, but it may be removed due to... Oh no! Akko into the wall. Front wing completely gone, and he's missed the pit entry. And not only that, but no front wing for an entire lap. This may cost him massively in his 2-stop strategy. Hemi Dimes may get that 3-second penalty removed by the stewards, as that's a known glitch in the F1 games. Meanwhile, Akko losing out to Hitman. Michael Louis getting ahead of Ollie as well, and this has now some traffic to deal with, which he would have liked to not have put up with on this lap. Nis now has got a dispatch of 4 cars ahead of him, and he's going to try and get rid of Ollie here into turn 6 as Nis outbreaks Ollie into turn 6 and exiting turn 7. Can he get the run of Michael Louis? Michael burning the rears momentarily as Nis now on the rear of the McLaren. And can he get close enough to the McLaren driver as we see Akko go very wide? And Akko No front wing. Might not be able to do much as Nis now on the rear of Michael Louis through the final sector. It's a risky move and a lovely move from Nis. Overtaking 3 cars in 1 lap there. And we've seen there, TJ went very deep on his pit entry. And Akko followed him in sympathy. But Akko, with the help of Dirty Air, came off worse in that instance. And Akko now into the box now to fix his front wing. But that extra lap is going to do a ton of hurt to his strategy. As Gordon now coming in off his 2-stop strategy as well. Meanwhile, Star up in P7. As Nis now can see Hitman. But does Nis have 16 seconds of pace in hand to catch? Plus the time penalty that Nis just picked up as well. Actually, the speeding and the pit lane penalty that Nis picked up. Which will possibly not be removed by the stewards. So Nis looks like the win is not going to be on for the Alpine driver here. Meanwhile, Hemi Dimes, that 3-second time penalty could be removed. And probably will be removed by the stewards. But I'm sure Hemi doesn't quite mind. All he really cares about is trying to outscore Cookie by enough to win the title. Currently Cookie winning the championship here. Hemi needs a miracle to go his way if he wants to win. And not only win, but needs Cookie to finish far enough down the order to get a 14-point game on the championship leader here. And Hemi on the rear of Ollie. Ollie now going to come in off his strategy. And Ollie now in for the 2-stop. Hitman also in for what I would think is hard tyres now. Ollie on to mediums, and I would say still some decent pace in those mediums. Hitman's going to be very strong on these hard tyres at the end, as the hards are definitely the strongest tyre on this game, especially at Abu Dhabi. Hemi on the inside of Michael Louis, looking for the move through turn 5. Michael doesn't want to give an inch though. Michael still battling for the podium here, and Michael can see his potential first tier 1 podium on the cards here. But Hemi now into P3, and Hemi may be looking at another P2 this season if he can stay inside the 10-second penalty threshold of Nis up the road. But I'm sure Hemi wants more, wants the potential championship victory. As Hitman now on the rear of Liam. And Hitman now round the outside of Liam. And Hitman through into P8. As we're here on lap 21 of 29. And Cookie has a 14-second gap to Nis. Not only does he have that gap, but Nis has 10 seconds of penalties. Hemi with 3 seconds of penalties. Hemi's could get removed, but I know Nis's won't. So we'll have to wait and see there. Akko all over the rear of Nuki now through the final sector here. Gordon also in this battle. As Akko all over the rear of the Alpine up ahead. Akko now looking for a move on Nuki. Gordon also wants this move as well. And Akko staying in behind, wants the DRS out of turn 5, and Akko's got damage. Akko into the rear of Nuki. And Akko now right end plate missing for the Haas driver. As Gordon now into turn 6. Akko possibly going to look for the switchback on the Alpine. And what a lovely switchback there from Akko. Getting through on the Alpine of Nuki as Liam losing out to Ollie now. Ollie on a charge on his 2-stop strategy. But here on lap 22 of 29, Will Akko be able to manage those hards to the end, especially with the wing damage as he washes out a bit wide through turn 13? As Liam comes in for his final pit stop, possibly on the mediums until the end here. But Akko, I'm sure, frustrated after that damage he picked up with Nuki. Out of turn 5. Meanwhile, Hitman on the rear of Thori. And can he go for the move out of turn 7? Does he have the pace in the Sauber here? As Akko does get through in Gordon. And Hitman now through on Thori into P7. As Gordon now going to try and get back ahead of Akko here. Out of turn 7. These two are going to battle up into turn 9. Akko flashing ahead in the Haas. Gordon going to pick the outside. Dive it round the outside. The Haas drivers, they go side by side through turn 9. And Gordon comes out ahead of Akko there. As Hitman picking up another 3-second time penalty as he tries to pull the gap to Thori. Also trying to catch the likes of TJ and Star. Star out there on mediums, but will those mediums go to the end? We will wait and see. Currently catching Michael Louis, who's on the one stop. Bit of a wobble from Star mid-corner there. And TJ also wants to get involved in this battle as well. As Akko picking up another 3-second time penalty for his woes. And it's been another frustrating outing for Akko this season. I have to say Akko's had one of the most frustrating seasons out of everyone. Just even though we can tell he has a lot of pace in hand, it just seems to be involved in the drama that always in the end costs him dearly. As Akko now back on the rear of Gordon. Nis now 11 seconds off Cookie. Is he catching him at a rate quick enough? I'm not sure. I don't believe so. As Akko now on the rear of Gordon. Can he get back ahead of the Aston Martin driver? This is a barn burner. Battling over P11 between Akko and Gordon. And Gordon going to keep it ahead here on lap 24. But with 5 laps to go in this race, Cookie leads, and this doesn't look like he appears to be catching on the championship leader here. It looks like Cookie may have this in the bag. Meanwhile, Hemi continues to fall further and further back from Nis. It looks like we're nailed on unless there's a late safety car, as Ollie Bean going to come in here on lap 24. And Ollie Bean getting a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty for good measure. As Akko now on the rear of Gordon. And with DRS, can this help Akko? He's still struggling with that damage. But will that give him any help in making this move? Meanwhile, Star also now almost inside DRS range of Michael Louis. And can Star, despite having an awful outing in the beginning of the race, could still end up P4 or even P3 at a push. If he gets inside either Himi or Nis's penalty threshold, be a very impressive podium from Star here today. As Akko still following along Gordon, we've got Star, TJ and Michael all in the battle for P4 here. Possibly even P3 with Nis's 10 second, but Michael 15 seconds back from this. I doubt they're going to get inside that threshold, but Star unable to get inside DRS from Michael Louis. TJ now into turn 6 they go. Side by side goes TJ and Star. And Star going to try and get the exit out of turn 7. And with DRS and ERS, can he get back ahead of TJ, who's now up into P5. TJ appears to have a bit more straight line speed in this Mercedes to keep him ahead as Akko gets through on Gordon into turn 6. Gordon going to try and get back ahead through turn 7. Can he find the traction on this, the rear of this Aston, as it seems to be struggling out of turn 7 for traction. And Akko will keep it ahead. Meanwhile, TJ on the rear of Michael Louis. Still the battle for P4 rages on. Michael there doesn't have any penalties, but what he does have... Star was very wide there out of turn 1. TJ does have 3 seconds of penalties, but has 6 laps fresher hards than TJ. And TJ's hards will be definitely performing the best out of anyone in this battle. Star's mediums currently hitting the cliff. I did mention 10 laps is really around the limit for the mediums, and he does have DRS, but is he close enough to stay inside Akko's DRS? It doesn't seem so, as TJ now on the rear of Michael Louis. Michael, bit of a wobble out of turn 7. And can TJ now get back ahead of the McLaren driver? And TJ now up into P4 as he goes round the outside of the McLaren and gets through into P4, exiting turn 9. Meanwhile, Gordon and Akko yet again battle for P11 here. And a P4 for TJ would be big in the championship, as Gordon through on the inside of Akko side by side. They go through turn 9 and Gordon through into P11. But as I mentioned, TJ getting P4 here would climb him a couple positions in the championship. He's currently behind Stephen Beecham, who was his championship rival last season. But if I have a quick look at the standings, let's see here. It will be... where is TJ? Could jump ahead of Stephen Beecham and Mallard, and even potentially Akko at a push. But I don't think he's a big enough gap to get ahead of Michael Louis. I think Michael Louis will hold on to his championship position here, as Liam on the rear of Nuki. Nuki out there on the old hards. But here on lap 27, and it looks like Cookie has it all but won here in WHF Tier 1, looking to become a 6th time champion in the SSR and WHF family. And can Cookie cement his place in history once again, as Hitman on the rear of Star on the much fresher hard tyres. Hitman now looking to work his way up into P5, even potentially as high as P4 if he can dispatch of Star and Michael Louis quick enough. A Star and big wobble out of the final corner, and Hitman just has way more grip on these hard tyres. Potentially get through on Star. Star looking down the inside, but unable to get ahead of Hitman. And Hitman, good defensive driving after he got that move. And Hitman now up into P6 now, as he's going to look on the rear of Michael Louis and going to try and pull a gap from the McLaren here on the penultimate lap of the race. As Hitman now in DRS range. And Hitman through up into P5. But can he pull a gap from the McLaren drivers? The McLaren of Michael Louis really wobbly on the rear, under braking. The dirty air not helping these 16 lap old hard tyres. He is doing the one stop here, but it's a real big struggle for the driver, as Nuki ahead of Liam, as Liam going to try and get back ahead. Stephen wants to get involved in this battle as well, as Cookie starts the final lap of the race here in Abu Dhabi. Liam on the inside of Nuki as they go side by side through turn 6 and 7. Liam on the outside as Nuki closes the door on the Haas driver as Liam now with the arrest going to try and get ahead of the Alpine. We've got the Ferrari of Stephen Beecham in behind who wants to get involved in the battle as well. Can Liam look down the inside of Nuki? Side by side they go through turn 9. Can Liam find the extra grip on the inside? A little bit of a wobble mid-corner, loses the rear massively, and Nuki holds on to it and just about does enough here. Meanwhile, Ollie now on the rear of Thori as they've just started the final lap of the race here. And can Ollie get ahead of Thori? He should have P8 on track, which will make sure that he stays ahead of Ty Clear in the championship. But we will move on board with Cookie, who has been deserving champion here in Season 6. Has won multiple races, as he always does here in WHF. And after being a 5-time champion last season, here in Season 6 of WHF, he'll be crowned once again as WHF Tier 1 champion. And as Cookie now has just 2 more corners to do it, the Red Bull driver will round the final corner. And Cookie, for a 6th time, will win the championship here in WHF Tier 1. Absolutely sensational as Nis is going to do some donuts, which allows Hemi through into P2. But Nis is out there doing donuts. It's going to give TJ potentially his first podium in WHF. Nis is going to come across the final corner as he drifts it across the line. TJ gets into P3. Hitman rounding the final corner, but gets a puncture. Or maybe run out of fuel. Hitman now down. Michael Luya into P4. Star going to reverse across the line in the Williams. Gets P6. Thori crosses the line. Ollie into P8. Ty into P9. Gordon crosses the line into P11. Echo now going to do some donuts as well, it seems, as he reverses across the line as well. Stephen into P13. I don't believe he'll jump as... Liam! Liam on the final corner. Spins across the final corner, and Liam dropping down, and Nuki will finish P14 in Tier 1. Liam into P15, and Ollie Bean down to P16 will get a point here in Tier 1. But an absolutely sensational drive yet again from Cookie. Wins by 15 seconds and is yet again champion here in Season 6. As we'll make sure we get the results in. As hopefully these recorded. I would like if they did. We'll double check that they did. Because it would just give me less of a headache, you know. But as we wait for drivers to join the interviews channel, hopefully we can get some drivers into the chat. As driver of the day goes to Star, and deservedly so. It was in the wars early on in the race. Meanwhile, Cookie picks up pole, the fastest lap, and the win here in Abu Dhabi for maximum points to seal his Season 6 title. As we've got the race director in if it's needed, which sometimes in Abu Dhabi it is. But an absolutely sensational season it's been here in WHF Season 6. 3 tiers, 3 different champions. NMX James won the Tier 3 championship. Tier 2 champion was Kodomatic in a sensational finale in Silverstone last time out. And in Tier 1, it was Cookie yet again on the top step of the podium and picking up the championship yet again here in WHF. As we've got Nis in to the party. Nis, how'd your race go? And also, did you get a puncture in the final lap, or were you just doing donuts for the fun of it?
Donuts.
Yeah.
I wanted to give DJ his first podium.
Yeah.
So I just did donuts.
I did believe that's what you were doing. That was my guess, and it is very nice of you to do that to give TJ his first podium in WHF. TJ, with that podium, will jump up a couple positions in the championship, I believe. I'll have a quick render of the standings to see how that has changed things. As let me see if I can get this loaded. And I think TJ improves to P9 in the championship. He was, I believe, P12, so has jumped multiple positions there. Following that podium that Nis was very nice to gift him. But it's been a good season from yourself, Nis. You have 4 wins, just 1 shy of Cookie. How was that season as a whole for you?
Unexpected. Not expecting to race that much this season, but I ended up doing more races than I expected. But overall, it went good. It might have been within a shot of the title if I did the first 3 races, but yeah. So sometimes life gives you other curveballs. So
yeah, sometimes in the life, as a wise Mbappe once said. But it's been a good season for yourself in this, and I'm hoping to see more again next season. I know you have a busy work schedule, so we're lucky to have you when we do, but still been a great performance from you, and you finished P4 in the standings with the second most wins in the tier, so you can be proud of that.
Wee.
But we'll move on to TJ, who picked up his first podium here in WHF Tier 1. How did that one feel, TJ?
It felt good. I qualified, I think, 5th, but Star dropped behind me because of his penalty. And then I boxed, and then Echo was on me for quite a bit, and I thought he was going to get past me. And then, obviously, I stopped again, and I got past the McLaren and Star again. And then, yeah, Nisev slowed down for me, so shout out to him, definitely. And I got my first podium.
Did you expect this to just hand it over to you?
No, not to be honest, no. But that's nice of him to do that. And hopefully I can get some more next season if I'm here.
Yeah, hopefully so. And I'm going to quickly get the standings up on the stream, because for whatever reason it wasn't loading correctly, but here we are. Here is your updated standings. Cookie is your Season 6 champion ahead of Himi Dimes. Next is Rio Harris, then it's Nasev, Ollie, Ty, JG, Michael Louis. TJ moves up 3 spots into P9 following that podium. Echo, Mallard, Stephen, Thorsten, Seth, Apple, Kevin, Womack, Star, Liam and Berlin is your top 20 here in Tier 1. It's been a fantastic season from many drivers here. The next driver I do want to talk to is Star. Star, you spun lap 1 and we didn't quite see what happened with you there, but you fought your way back up again, got a driver of the day performance. How'd that race go for you, Star?
Terribly. I had a screen freeze. I didn't spin. Quite comfortably say I didn't spin. But yeah, so I had a screen freeze straight away because I had my medal running in case of anything. And it gave me a full fucking screen freeze, so not ideal. It was fun to make all the overtakes again, but yeah, the strategy would have come to me today. I could have been right up there with TJ, but it forced me onto a 1 to stay relevant. But it is what it is. Not here for a championship.
Well, it was great to have you back, even if it's just for one race, Star, and it was a very sensational driver of the day performance. Able to fight your way back up. Was it P5? P4?
There will be some pit lane pens removed, is all I can say. But yeah, 95% crossing the line. We take those.
Yeah, I was surprised to see you do so to go so early onto the mediums. I was like, maybe you might have to 2-stop from here. I was surprised to see you pull the 1-stop off, because lap 16 is a bit early to be doing the mediums, but you were able to pull it off and got a decent result. But the next driver we'll move on to is Michael Lou, who I do believe finished P4 there. Unfortunately, you don't gain anywhere in the championship. You finished 3 points behind JG, but still an impressive race to end the season. How'd that go for you, Michael?
Yeah, it went really well, thank you.
Michael, your mic is is
in Area 51.
What's what's happened?
fix your mic. Whatever has happened, you have turned into an alien. Hopefully we can get Michael's mic working again. Maybe he dropped it in water before he joined the interviews. But while Michael sorts out his technical difficulties, we'll move on to Ollie, who finished P5 in the championship. I believe it was P8 in the race. Ollie, how'd that season go for you? And the race as well.
Oh, God. Yeah, I suppose it wasn't too bad. P5 in the end is like kind of best of the rest, best of the top 4 rocket ships. You know, I'll take it. I wasn't expecting it after last season in the Mercedes. I was like not hopeful for being very high in the championship this season, but yeah, I just was pulling out the results, being as consistent as I could, and yeah, I mean, the season's been as good as I would have hoped. But yeah, the race was kind of bad. I put the wrong setup on, and unfortunately, I realised mid qualifying that I had to set up on for Singapore. So basically, yeah, I was trying to adjust it, and yeah, I think yeah, P8 in the end. Unfortunately, I had a little incident with JG, which might see the stewards. I did spin him round. So I might get a penalty for that, but yeah, well, it was an alright race, but overall season, yeah, I'll take it. Yep.
Well, as you say, they're best of the rest, and in a very competitive field here in Tier 1, I would definitely take that. But it's been a great season for me, Ollie, and we'll hope to see more again next season as well. And we'll see. We'll see, Michael, have you returned from the mothership? Does your mic work?
Yeah, I've switched over.
All right, lovely.
I've got a new headset, which is brilliant up until the point I actually had to use the microphone, which I assume, yeah, shipped me to Mars for some reason. All in all, it's been, yeah, quite a good season. There's been, I think, this final race has possibly been one of my strongest. Yeah, it was good. The one stop turns out wasn't the best strategy. The tyres were about 85% going across the line. They survived, but obviously I did not have any pace or any sort of defence to the people coming behind me. I'm so surprised that I kept Star behind me, but that was obviously because his tyres were just about hanging on. So yeah, no, it's been a great season, and I'll try and ride this level of enthusiasm into next season and hopefully get some better results.
Yeah, hopefully so. Michael, you finished P8, just 3 points behind JG to finish the season, but I'm sure with that P4 and actually a very strong end of the season, 3 pretty high points finishes to end the season. It was a very strong end of the season from you, and I'm expecting more of the same next season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've finally got my head, everything in gear, and feeling a lot more confident. Changed some things with my setup, and it's obviously proving to be quite helpful.
Yep, and I think it was a P4, P5, and another P4 to end the season. Unfortunately, no podiums, but hopefully next season you can finally get onto the podium here in Tier 1. But I can admit, Tier 1 is... it's really tricky to get on the podium, especially this season. It seems Cookie, Himi, Rio and Nis have been just a level above everyone else, and you can see it in the standings. They are just they've consistently all 4 of them been on the podium this season. It's been tricky for any drivers to really get inside that podium outside of those 4 drivers, but hopefully we'll see more mixed variety next season. And let's see who else is here to interview. I think we'll go to Echo next. Echo, you were having a decent race, but then again picking up damage, and it just seemed to be more of the same. It's been another difficult season and another difficult race. But how'd that race go for you, Echo?
Well, it went kind of well in the start. I think I had solid pace, but because I had such low high wings. I kind of just chilled in CJ slipstream the whole race until we both boxed. Well, I tried to box, but I missed that entry and picked up front wing damage, and it just lost me a bunch of times. So yeah, I ended up getting dropped back quite a bit, gained a few more positions back, and just chilled in like P12 and picked up penalties, so I had to create a gap. But yeah, it went pretty decent.
And you did join us a bit late on in the season, but you still ended up finishing P10. A bit of a similar story between you and Michael, where you were on the cusp of the podium in some races, but just not quite there. Can we expect some podiums from you from next season?
Hopefully yes. It just depends on my luck.
Well, I'm really hoping for more luck from you next season, because you've been definitely one of the most unlucky drivers in Tier 1 this season, but it's been great to have you here, and hopefully in season 7 there'll be more luck coming your way.
Thank you.
And we'll move on next to Thorsden. Thorsden, I believe you finished P9, which is one of your best finishes of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's my highest finish of this season. Yeah.
And
I was thinking P10. It was P10.
And how'd that race go for you?
Yeah, my first stint was a little bit of an how to say, unfair battles with some people. So I was on the one stop, and it was a pretty good race for me. So only the 3-second penalty was a little bit annoying, because I defended Ollie on the last lap.
Mm-hmm.
But
but
it was a nice race.
It was a nice battle and a nice race, but I'm trying to think where you finished the championship. It is P13. A decent enough championship from yourself, Thorsden. Can we expect even more next season as well?
Yeah, I hope I carry this pace what I have in the last 2-3 races on to the next season.
Yeah, hopefully we're looking to see it. I must say, I've did some races with you in the last couple of weeks, and I can definitely tell you've got pace in hand, so we're looking forward to seeing more of it next season as well. And we'll move on to Nuki. Nuki, I think that was your first Tier 1 race, and you did pick up some points. I think you pick up 3 or 4 points. How'd that race go for you, Nuki?
It's actually my second, because I was here for Zandvoort too. But yeah, it went pretty well. I tried something different, tried the one stop, had mixed results. The mediums were a bit shit towards like turn around like lap 11, I mean. But yeah, I had some fun battles. I think I also frustrated a lot of people in this race because I was going for the one stop. But yeah, towards the end, I got to have a really nice battle with Stephen Beecham and Lewis 44. So overall, I think it was a pretty positive race for me.
Yeah, it was great to see you get some decent points, and hopefully we'll see you move up to Tier 2 next season. Can get even more next season as well. But even to pick up points in Tier 1 is no easy feat. So great to see you pick up some more points.
Yeah, it's nice for the second tier 1 race I've done. I mean, I'm a bit disappointed since last time I was in P10 in Zandvoort, but I mean, I'll take it. Abu Dhabi has never been my strongest track, so.
But thank you, Nuki, and we'll move on to Ollie Bean. You finished P16, which is a point in Tier 1, so you can leave with that. But how'd your race go, Ollie Bean?
I picked up rear wing damage lap 1. I think it was DZ race who rear-ended me. So my corner exits were terrible. They were absolutely abysmal, and I'd lost all my pace. But I figured I may as well finish it. I'm in a points position, so yeah, I just crawled to the end, really.
I genuinely feel like it's more difficult to finish a race on with rear wing damage, because I've not known many to do it, because rear wing damage is basically a death sentence on this game. It's just you have no rear, and it's very tricky to drive. I'm impressed to hear that you decided to go to the end of the race there on that, or in those conditions.
Well, there's no WHF for a little bit, so I figured I'd get my laps in. So, but Yeah, I went wheel to wheel a few times with, I think it was Stephen, and I went wheel to wheel with Star for a little bit, even though I could never hold that. But I was just more impressed that I was able to actually go wheel to wheel with wing damage. So I'll take it. I'll take it.
Honestly, being able to battle with anyone with rear wing damage is more than I could do, because anytime I've had rear wing damage in the past, it's literally been a retire in the pit lane, because I can't even make it through one corner. So that is a very impressive drive, considering that you only had rear wing damage. But anyway, also
I just crawled to the finish.
yeah. Thank you for the follow in the chat, Karina, as well, and also thank you, Himi, for redeeming all the faz in the stream, if people have been wondering where that's come from. But that's been everything here from Tier 1. In the finale, Cookie is your Season 6 champion, and before we head out, does anyone have any fond memories from Tier 1 that they'd like to chat about?
Yep. I got a 50% win rate.
Yeah, and that if you had attended 100% of the races, you would have more wins than Cookie, so you've actually a higher winning percentage than Cookie.
What? How many did he miss?
He had maybe I'm wrong. Oh, actually, no, he had 5 wins. Yeah, he had 5 wins. So if you had turned up for the races, then you might have 6. You know, so
damn.
Brain absolute cinema in Bahrain.
Oh, wait. I have something else. Nis has also a 50% win rate for this season.
Nis, you've attended 8 races, and Nis has won 4. So both Nis and Star have a higher winning percentage than Cookie this season. So
let's go, Star.
You can put that trophy on your mantelpiece if you would like.
Absolutely.
I will fucking do that.
But as Nis did mention, the Absolute Cinnamon Bahrain was one of the crazier races this season, where there was cars absolutely everywhere on the opening laps.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And it has been a great season to commentate. Thank you all here who have participated. And also commiserations to Himi, who is in the chat. Himi fought as far as he could, picked up 6 P2s this season, but unfortunately no wins. Hopefully Himi can get back on the top step of the podium next season, because Himi did end the finale of Season 5 on the top step of the podium, so hopefully in Season 7 he can get back up to the top step. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please drop a follow. We're 12 follows away from 1,000 followers on Twitch, so help us get there if you can. We'll raid someone on our way out, and we'll be back in a month's time for Season 7 opener. We'll actually be back in a week's time, because we'll be doing a mini award show, so keep your eye out for that. But if you have enjoyed, please drop a follow, and we're going to raid Firefang on our way out. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I've been WHF Arrow, and also make sure to follow Firefang on your way out. But that's been everything from us here at in Season 6 WHF, and Cookie is your 6-time champion here in WHF. But thank you all for watching, and goodbye.
Oh.